and welcome to episode 57 of the Rusty Quill Gaming Podcast. I'm your host and GM, Alex Newall, and with me today I have...
James Ross,
Bryn, Monroe,
Lydia Nicholas,
Meredith.
And who are you playing?
Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham,
Hamid, Saleh, Haroun, al-Tahan,
Sasha, Racket.
Zolf Smith.
God, we're so slick. We're
We
so
are
flawless.
slick. It's almost like we never made a mistake introducing ourselves with the wrong names, introducing ourselves as each other, or anything like that. That's never happened. That we've got our own names mixed up with our characters.
When it came round to mine, my brain was going, say Sasha Racket. It's like, no.
I always get really afraid during that bit because much of the time James makes a really good joke and then my mind goes blank and I'm like, I can't just say Hamid, I need a joke too, I don't have a joke.
I'm only worried during that bit that I might accidentally blow my cover. That's my big concern.
So, speaking of things going surprisingly well,
Yep.
you got ambushed by an enormous amount of gnomes.
Gnomes in trench coats.
It was gnomes in trench coats.
Standing on top of each
Standing
other.
on top of each other. Acrobatic gnomes who proceeded to do really badly against you, get quite blown up, a little bit killed, try going invisible and sticking you to the floor, and that also didn't work. Yeah. They're after Oscar Wilde, after all of the issues with Mist Ceiling and so on, and you are currently in Paris, which is being slowly taken over by La Gourmande. The party are in the middle of a street with a few upturned vehicles, one of which Sasha exploded wantonly and successfully.
One of which got wobbled, just saying.
It did get wobbled. It got
You
very
are
wobbled.
welcome.
With your face.
Yep.
Savagely wobbled.
The party are currently surrounded, all pretty much with the exception of Bertie, who's just doing his own thing as he is wont to do. The rest of them are all surrounding an Oscar Wilde who is completely unconscious, having been presumably poisoned, we believe. So, as it stands, we are at the beginning of a new round. Sasha, you're up.
So I'm still entangled.
You currently have been hit by a tanglefoot bag. You are not stuck to the floor,
Nope.
but you are entangled.
Which means no dex bonus on anything.
You will move at half speed. You cannot run or charge. You're at -2 on all attack rolls, -4 penalty to dex. And then you must make a concentration check of DC 15 plus spell level to cast spells because your fingers have gone all sticky.
Wait, what? You
and
didn't
you're
say
covered
that
in
last
stuff.
week?
Yeah.
Oh, Alex! No.
Bryn, I want you to know it's just because I hate you. And also, you're single-handedly just pow, 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 pow.
I mean, a more sensible thing would have been to throw a bomb, but she's not. She's angry. She's going to stab him.
So move up and
enough.
stabbing one of the
Yep.
surrounding gnomes.
2. Oh,
2
no,
plus
wait.
4.
That's
2
a-
plus 4 minus.
That's a miss.
Yeah.
Okay.
Sticky Sasha. Sasha's used to moving really fluidly, and now she's it's like the ball bearings have got the traces of stuff from the tape that we use to keep the mics in place. So it's all like just slightly the grey,
all gone wrong.
the grey, like the glue bit when it's been peeled off.
Hamid,
It's
you're up.
sticky. I don't like it.
Do any of them look particularly badly hurt?
Yes. They all look pretty badly hurt. There's not a lot in it unless you were to take extended amounts of heal checks.
Okay,
to
I
spot.
target the one closest to me with Magic Missile. I make a concentration check to successfully cast Magic Missile. I probably fail. Yes, I failed my concentration check and failed to cast Magic Missile.
Covered in sticky.
Little
Okay.
clawed fingers just not
Bertie,
responding.
you're up.
Too sticky.
Bertie takes a 5-foot step away from the gnome who is dangling by the neck out of the window of the car, up to one of the gnomes that was...
Just threw a tanglefoot bag at your back.
Yes. Bounce did it. And then he takes a swing at that nearest gnome.
You will be on a -2.
Oh, natural 20.
Natural
Roll to
20.
confirm
Roll
the
to
crit.
confirm.
1.
Oh!
Crit is not confirmed.
Crit is not confirmed.
Good time for a 1, it has no impact.
So is that just like, that's just a normal hit then?
Yes.
You hit.
Okay, I hit him. And then rolling for damage. 8.
They are down. Describe
old
it as you see
Bertie.
fit. They are not dead. They are dying.
Bertie takes 1 step towards the gnome, stares down at the gnome. Bertie swings the sword directly downwards, cleaves a huge slice off the side of one of the legs of the gnome as if he is slicing a Christmas ham.
Funnily enough, that makes it quite hard for the gnome to dodge out of the way.
Yeah.
Hence why it's getting taken
The
out.
hamstring just pings off and slaps against the ground. The gnome screams, passes out, and falls backwards.
Yes, that happens.
Uh,
Okay.
James is just reminding us that even though we are playing a game, we're still doing a horrible violence on people. most
Bertie
of
is
the time.
not a nice man.
No.
Bertie hates A, people, and B, gnomes.
Bertie's not the one narrating.
Well, I'm playing the character.
Zolf, you're up.
I will turn around, look at the one that is closest to me, and shoot an icicle at him.
This is a spell-like ability, isn't it?
Yeah.
So you don't have to make a concentration check.
Nothing happens, really nothing different. 12 on a ranged touch.
Nope. Close, but no.
Fair enough.
Shatters against a car. The readied action that all of the gnomes used against you doesn't actually reorder initiative. However, that was in the last round. In this round, everyone has held their action in order to all go now. So there's going to be an enormous amount of moves, but it's because they have all basically given up their chance to move earlier to coordinate now.
Mm-hmm.
They all share a glance. It looks like something big's about to happen. At which point, they all scatter simultaneously, leaving their comrades. The two that do not provoke attacks of opportunity, one of them ducks out behind a car, putting the car between him and Bertie. The other one ducks through the glass for one of the looted buildings. A remainder provokes an attack of opportunity from Sasha. He's outside.
Freaking
Oh, yeah.
4. So
4.
doesn't matter
You
what
do
I
not. Scarpers
Round the corner.
round the corner, keeping a car between him and Bertie, and Scarpers. As far as you can tell, they have all fled. Do any of you intend to pursue?
No. We would be
Bertie?
incredibly ineffective at it with having been tangled.
We will drop out of combat in that case.
There'll be something. There'll be a bomb. There'll be a bomb. Why would they flee? They had us right there. Like, let's get out of the way. Quick, quick.
It's because we were beating them up.
You're so nonchalant, I love it.
It didn't work. They'd lost. Half of them had fallen over. They knew they had to get going, or that.
If you want to, let's just move wild then.
A couple of the gnomes groan slightly.
Bertie takes a step over to the one that is outside of the car, picks him up by the scruff of the neck, and
Yep.
then carries him back over to the group. Look, I brought one in for questioning.
Uh,
I'll be bad cop.
right.
No one else can play.
I'm going to stabilise the one that's on the floor.
Okay.
Do you want to look after Wild too?
Yeah, I'm going to see if I can work out what's going on.
All right. So one of them went into a building through a looted, kind of smashed window.
Yes.
So Sasha is going to duck into that building and
Okay.
look around.
Give me a perception check.
It's 18.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh, sorry.
Bad
Oh.
for Sasha.
So what you see is it was clearly some kind of chocolatiers. However, all of the shelves have been completely stripped bare. There is nothing in there.
Well, apart from the ones in the window, because like Thornton's, they only have the plastic ones in the window. And in my hometown, when I was growing up, somebody smashed the front window of Thornton's, only stole the ones that were in the front window. Till I discovered they were plastic. It was hilarious.
I'm afraid even the plastic ones have been taken.
Okay.
However, you do notice there is a small trail of blood, nothing gushing or anything, a few droplets that lead into what looks like a back room. The door is wide open.
Go into the back room.
You see the trail continues to a back door which opens into an alleyway. Meanwhile,
Yeah, I will make another heal check on Wild, because, like, not in the heat of battle.
go for it.
Yeah, I'll take 10 for a total of
So you
20.
take 10, obviously that takes a few minutes. Total of?
20.
Good news, bad news. The good news is it's not doing anything particularly deleterious to Oscar Wilde insofar as his health isn't diminishing, he's
For
not
the benefit of people like me, that means it's not making it worse.
correct. However, you also know that he's been hit hard by this poison. You don't know what poison it is, but short of having some kind of antidote to hand, you've just got an unconscious Oscar Wilde. There's not a lot you can do, you just got to let him sleep it off, really.
Bertie takes the gnome that he's currently carrying, pins him to a wall with one hand, and strips the gnome of clothes, weapons, equipment, so they all fall to the floor. How responsive is the gnome?
The gnome remains unconscious throughout. They're in a particularly bad way, in the sense of they are stable, and that's just about all they are, so they're not bleeding out on you.
Then
They
Bertie, upon noticing that, unceremoniously drops the gnome from several feet
You
in
drop
the air.
you drop the gnome onto a pile of his own equipment, and
Bertie kicks the gnome aside to get to things that he's actually
there
interested in.
doesn't appear to be an antidote in there.
What is there?
There does appear to be the following. Are we ready?
While this is going on, I'm going to be taking the equipment from the other two gnome bodies. I'm going to take their weapons away from them, take any potions off them, because
Yep.
I don't want them going invisible and running away
Yep.
again.
So,
Sasha's going to come back and tie them up.
Yeah. I'm not going to take off their
Probably.
armour or clothes, but weapons and any other
I will
equipment.
describe everything that they are holding upon them, and be aware that unless I say otherwise, they all have identical gear.
Yeah.
They are a team unit and have been equipped as such. Characters have another tanglefoot bag each. They all are wearing studded leather armour, similar to Sasha's but intended for gnomes, so none of you will really be able to wear it effectively. Hamid might be able to get away with it, but
I could wear it, but
it wouldn't be a
it
particularly
would
good
interfere
fit.
with spellcasting.
Yeah. They all have masterwork bucklers. They all have composite long bows. They all have 20 arrows. They each have a dagger. They each have masterwork rapiers. Yeah. There are, between all of them, 2 invisibility potions left. They are all carrying hip flasks full of what smells like not good brandy.
I leave it.
Bertie takes yours.
They all have identical money purses containing 50 gold each. And then one of them has, you see, a very small knapsack. The one that Bertie held up and just tore all the stuff off had a small knapsack. Inside that, you see a collection of jewels and gold. Give me the appraise roll, Sasha, I'm assuming, given that you're Madam Appraise.
She sees 22 of jewels.
22 of jewels.
Yeah.
To your eye, it looks like there is between 3,000 and 4,000 golds worth of jewels in this bag. Call it misc booty.
Alright, let's grab him and get out of the city.
Yeah, we should probably keep one of these to question. See if we've got anything
Maybe
useful.
we should take the, just one of the empty shops or buildings around here for the night.
There are still the sounds of distant social unrest throughout the city. But again, it is very distant. It's not in this particular area. You're in a broadly deserted part.
I suggest we take 2 of the gnomes, because one might be used as an example to encourage greater loquacity on the part of the other.
Too hard to transport 2 of them. Let's just...
Wrong! Bertie picks up one gnome by the neck, picks up the other gnome by the neck.
Like chickens.
Making eye contact with Bertie, Hamid lifts up one arm of Oscar Wilde's.
Zolf, you're a big guy. Do you want to help?
Bertie maintains eye contact with Hamid, pulls the papoose out from the empty brutal papoose out from his knapsack, shoves the unconscious gnome into the
The one
papoose.
who's completely out or the one who's stirring?
The one who's stirring, and
Okay.
he has it so that the gnome is directly facing up into his face, and the first thing he sees when he wakes up is going to be Bertie, staring right down at him.
Okay.
He's got the unconscious gnome, the unconscious, complete unconscious gnome in one hand. He picks up Oscar Wilde and slings him over his shoulder.
You have the carrying capacity for all of this. This is fine. You will be moving slightly slower than your optimal speed, but unless you plan on sprinting somewhere, that's not an issue.
I'm with 2 people who are mechanically slower than I am anyway because they're tiny, so
Correct.
it'll be fine. That's what we'll do.
This is the first time I really feel bad for Sasha because she's just got she's capable of genuine feats of speed going. Do ba-do, ba-do-do-do.
She might just pop into some shops as they're walking around, just scamper up and down, climb up a lamppost and come back down.
So where are people heading?
So, did Wilde mention where he was taking us?
No.
Yeah, it was out. So we need to wait for him to sleep this off. I'm going to assume it's not lethal because that wouldn't be useful to them.
Yeah. We just need to find somewhere to batten down for the night, I guess.
Yeah, any of these shops?
Might as well.
What shops are around? You mentioned chocolatiers. What else is there?
So
That's a fancy pot of
there
jam.
is a chocolatiers. Next door to the chocolatiers.
There's a knife shop, and on the other side is one with super magnets. And if we just flip the switch, and then boom,
Next door to the chocolatiers is a haberdasher's.
Ooh.
It looks like its grating has been sort of torn up a little bit. People saw what was in there, and then they went, "I do not need to loot hats." And then the looting stopped. Opposite the haberdashers is a bakery, which has also been raided, completely stripped bare. And then opposite from that, there is what looks to be some kind of extremely high-rent studio art installation gallery type situation.
We should go a little further away just in case they those gnomes get some friends and come back.
Yeah,
we
good
don't want to be in
point.
the same place.
Yeah.
Right, if we...
All the food shops would have been looted, but if we can find, a tailor or a furniture shop or something, there might be some, something we can use to keep ourselves warm.
Yeah, alright, well, I guess...
Let's walk for half an hour or so.
Yeah.
Find a
20 minutes maybe.
Alright, Hamid, save 10 minutes of walking.
I'm tired.
We're all tired.
Right, so
I'm really sleepy. Can we stop at the services? I want a boiled sweet.
So we're having an aimless wander for somewhere to...
Towards the outskirts.
towards the outskirts of
Okay,
Paris.
give me a knowledge local roll. I'd suggest probably Sasha, she knows
Yep.
her way around best.
16 plus 10, 26.
26. Okay, yeah,
I
you make some solid journey. You know that Paris is big, and 20 minutes isn't really going to get you to the edge of anywhere from where you are currently. But you make some movements. You're still in upmarket areas, and eventually you come near to a place that you know there is a locksmith's, which
super secure.
is, for obvious reasons, super secure. And interestingly, as you're passing by and you scope it out and so on, you see that it appears that there's no one in. It looks like the shop doesn't have residences there as well. The shop is locked tight, but you reckon you can get in. Also, everyone give me perception checks.
Critical fail.
Hey.
21.
28.
17.
Everyone apart from Bertie. Bertie,
No, critical fail means he thinks he understands.
I'm going to
right?
return to Bertie.
Okay.
Everyone else, as you are travelling, there is the sound of an occasional sprint in the distance. You don't know what it is. There is a cry out in the distance. You don't know who it could have been. At some point, you think you may have seen movement up on the rooftops, but it's really hard to tell. You'll see a lot of people pull their curtains aside, see a bunch of people carrying bodies, and close the curtains and make sure that they weren't seen. Bertie, as you're walking, you, rather than looking around, are just maintaining eye contact with the gnome's unconscious face as it slowly stirs, going, any moment.
And walk straight into a lamppost.
Any moment. You do not walk into a lamppost.
Yeah.
They all stop to look at the locksmiths. You keep walking. Any moment. Any moment now. Any moment. The gnome awakens to your face, then proceeds to pretend really convincingly to be unconscious again. Sort of opens its eyes, sees you, goes, closes. So unconscious.
In fact, he actually says, I'm sorry, and Bertie believes him.
So that's where we are. There is a locksmith's that you could probably break into, Sasha, but that's because you're way above
Bertie,
average.
Bertie, back here, Bertie, back here.
Any minute now. Any minute.
So unconscious.
Any minute.
I cast dancing lights.
There are like twinkly things in front of you and moving around you, presumably.
Oh, what?
Bertie!
Oh! Yeah, very well. All right. Bubbles back open. Any minute.
Right.
Any
Best
minute.
use of dancing lights ever.
Guys, the GM says that this locksmith will be secure, so we should
Don't get meta on me, you'll take psychic
not
damage.
point at all. No. What else? So let's say we stopped on the street. What else is there?
There are a few upmarket townhouses and private residences. There is also what looks to be a florist's.
Maybe we could go into
The florist hasn't been looted.
There might be some food.
It doesn't have much in the way of security, but it's all intact.
Locksmith shop seems like it would be the most secure. And if you can unlock it and relock it, then
Yeah, all right. Let's go to work on this bad boy.
We're going to take 20.
Yeah, it's gonna.
If you're willing to take the time, you can take 10 or take 20.
Let's take 10.
Then you don't need to roll.
Oh.
So just 10 plus what your disabled device is.
That's 21.
So we covered it a while ago, but worth reiterating. Taking 10 is where you take the time to do it properly and you do an average job, but you're not taking any penalties. You can also take 20, which is where you take ages and you definitely fail at least once. So generally you don't want to take 20 to disarm a trap that's going to explode, stuff like that. But
And you can't take 10 if you're under time pressure or if there are penalties for failure, basically.
Mhm.
Yeah.
You unlock the front door, Sasha.
All right, guys, in here.
all right. Well, we can dump the hostages and Wild. Hopefully, make him comfortable so that when he comes round.
Sasha might nick some locks.
So you all head inside?
Mm-hmm.
Sasha, the second that you open the door, a trap goes off.
I
Okay, one sec.
should have expected that.
What's your AC?
18.
18. You don't get a reflex save, but it misses anyway. 2 Tanglefoot bags from opposite ends of the room are catapulted. You open the door, hear go. Okay, close the door for a second. You hear it, the distinct sound of squelching. You open it. 2 Tanglefoot bags from opposite sides of the door are catapulted immediately at one another, entangle one another, and just fall at the floor without you entangled.
She checks for other traps.
Give me a perception check. 22? You find there are a number of non-lethal traps spread throughout the building.
Basically, any shop would have been better than a locksmith's.
That
It's sort of
said-
what I'd thought.
That said, none of them do you any damage. They're all actually very simple, but also none of them really have removable components. They're quite simple, and they're designed for someone who's trying their luck who might have just taken a bolt cutter to the lock or something. It's nothing particularly exciting.
All right, guys. Is there a back room?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right, let's go in here. You guys, see if there's any food around.
I'll have a look for some food, and I'll get everyone some water. There should be
Everyone give me
water
some
at
perception
least.
checks.
Oh dear.
5.
10.
13.
15.
Sasha, you hear the distinct sound of a gnome mumbling really quietly. Super unconscious.
That's what Bertie's put both. They're both down now.
Z. The other one is still out of it. Like, there's clearly like permanent damage that's happened to the other one.
It's alright, I'll use magic.
Magic!
All right. Sasha's going to lock the front door.
Sure.
One of the best locks.
Once you're in, there's a locker, which I'll just allow you to take 10 on. You open it, and it's the keys to all of the locks in the shocker, including the front door. You find an outstanding lock, I believe is the technical term for it. Tell you what, if you want to stock up on locks, chains, and other assorted lock-keeping equipment, now's your time.
Yes, she'd like some chains and locks in her bag of holding.
Well, then I didn't mention it earlier, but since you're going, there is a masterwork set of thieves' tools as well. Technically, they're not
think I've
thieves'
already
tools; they
got
are
some of
lockpicks for a legitimate locksmith.
I've already
But-
got those.
Sure, I just meant if you want them, they are amongst the things, and they're quite useful.
2.
Times
Well, Sasha, we probably shouldn't steal these.
it was already gone.
What?
The people that run it, they've gone.
Well, temporarily.
They were left.
They might come back. That's
Well,
what people do when they leave their businesses. They come back to them because this one hasn't been looted, so it's in perfect condition. We're using this as shelter, but
We shouldn't really steal from
Why do
these
you
people.
assume that you would be able to see her?
This is a very, very good point.
Yeah.
perception.
Yeah. Well, my sleight of hand was 14 plus 11.
My perception was 14 plus 6.
You successfully palm a big bag of tools.
Fine. She won't take all the chains and things because that would be quite difficult to.
It's
Yeah.
clanky.
It's clanky.
Now, Mr. Smith, we have here 2 gnomes. I would like to question them.
I don't think we should let Bertie do it. I think maybe he could stand at the back as an example of, a possible Bertie. But, let us do the talking.
Yeah.
I strongly object to that plan. I think I will be able to extract the maximum amount of information. By all means, you may ask the questions. I would like to apply the pressure.
You can do a lot of that by standing over there in that corner.
I do even more by standing closer.
You seem awfully eager to inflict pain upon these individuals.
Correct, Mr. Smith. They
Yeah.
were awfully eager to inflict pain on you not moments ago.
Sure,
There
but
is the very faint words of, it's not that bad, but really muttered in such a way that he's probably still unconscious, Bertie.
categorically not.
We're now in a position of power, and this is the moral winks at Zolf. Moral thing to do. Heroic, even.
But if no one were to see me question one of them alone...
We'd know it happened.
Yeah, we're right here.
Look, a bee!
All right, Gnome, do you know how hard it is for us to get this guy to not chop more bits off you? Tell us what you did to Wild. Tell us what the plan was. Should I roll an
Slightly
intimidate?
louder so that everyone can hear. Oh, so asleep. Oh, unconscious.
We're not all as dumb as him.
Kind of opens an eye. Fair cop. And we'll take a break there. Couple of minutes.
Hey, you, you with a face, yeah. I know I shouldn't be here, but got in like a wet ferret slipping through the hands of a moisturiser salesman. You know me. I just needed to let you know about this deal, right? You head over to rustyquill.com and follow the links to the store, or go on redbubble.com and search for us. I've been appraising this stuff, and it is good. There's all sorts of stuff in there. You want Brutor's face on a mug? You got it. You want Hamid's face on the wall? It's there. You want Bertie's face? Why? Yeah, well, I gotta go now, but you just remember, right? Head over to rustyquill.com, follow the links. Tell them I sent you. Just, well, I just wondered, though, are you gonna eat all that eel quiche?
And welcome back. So, the gnome sees which way the wind is blowing and just kind of slumps.
Right, so first things first, what have you done to Wild?
No.
Parlez-vous anglais?
The gnome looks to the rest of them.
Sasha French at him.
Where is the vernacular railway?
What?
He just looks to the rest of the party.
What a
He gives
weird
a sort of
sentence.
shrug.
What a weird sentence for someone to know. Why you know that sentence? You can't speak.
Bertie,
He just looks at the rest of them like, I don't know what I'm doing, gosh.
Bertie steps in and interposes himself directly between Sasha and Zolf and the gnome, leans into the gnome, unsheathes his sword. At this point, he's gonna do a dazzling display from a mechanical point of view.
Sure.
Out comes the feather boa.
Yeah, with
Oh, I'll tell you anything.
and he's pomp and pageantry this.
So give me the intimidate check with your pomp and pageantry bonus, and you said that you were doing it as a dazzling display, so this must include flashy swordsmanship.
It's going to include flashy swordsmanship.
Give me the roll.
Carve the MacGuffingham chest, the MacGuffingham crest
Into his chest.
Into his own chest.
Yeah.
With modifiers 13.
13. He looks at you, sees your dazzling display.
I'm done with dazzling display. I haven't described my dazzling display.
Describe it.
Okay. Is it successful or is it not?
No, not even slightly. Like you've actively hurt your cause because as you're doing it, not because your attempt wasn't good, but this is a stone cold killer. You've gone, ha, hoo, hoo, ha, look at me, ha, ha, and he's just gone, I could kill you, I just got unlucky.
Okay, fair enough. So the gnome is tied up and
Yes.
propped up in a chair. Bertie takes the sword, makes direct eye contact with the gnome, waves the sword through the air in such a way like as to perfectly trace the silhouette of the gnome before chopping out all four legs of the chair. The chair slams to the ground and falls off the chair to one side.
So the gnome turns to Sasha and just says in a sort of quiet French mutter, listen mate, can you do me a favour? Could you bring your hands apart and then bring them together and then apart and together again, like really slowly for me, like genuinely, please.
Sasha looks at Bertie, looks at the gnome.
I really appreciate it.
Looks at Bertie, looks at the gnome,
Oh,
and
go on,
then
do me a
does
solid.
it. And then
Yes!
Slow
Bertie
hands.
Slow
understands
clap via Sasha.
absolutely all of this.
Oh yeah, he's assuming that you just don't speak proper French.
Young man, I would advise you to be extremely careful. At this point, Bertie takes his sword and cuts off his ear.
No, you don't. Someone,
he does.
Sasha jumps in the way. You
Then,
can roll.
fair enough, give me the combat manoeuvre then.
19, only plus 2, so 21.
What's
That's
your
gonna
combat manoeuvre
work.
defense, James?
17.
17. You successfully trick Bertie. He wields his sword back, not in a big heffing swing, but just to try and get the angles right to lop off an ear, at which point, Bertie, you find yourself on your back.
What?
You're not sure how it happened.
What?
Look, he is going to kill you unless you do exactly what I say. And I'm not going to stop him killing you unless you do exactly what I say. You don't look scared, but we just took out 6 of you. I know you're trying to put on a front or whatever, but like, he will kill you.
It looks at you kind of, not sarcastically, just kind of blank and just goes, and if I leave here, I'm dead anyway.
Well, you could come with us, or we could leave you here and we might manage to sort this city out. We managed to sort out some
Do you
pretty
have any
big...
idea how much Lagormon wants that guy? He can't point, but he kind of gestures with his head towards
Yeah, I've got an idea, because Barrett wants me about the same.
Just during this conversation, I'll turn to Hamid and go, really would be useful if I spoke French, wouldn't it?
Oh, of course, and start muttering translation.
Oh, much obliged.
Barrett. Oh, yeah, sure. Scary guy. Ooh, yeah, alright.
She'll kick him. In the stomach.
As I see it, young Mr. Gnome, you have 2 choices. One of them is going outside of here and dying. The other is staying here, telling us what you know, and then dying. Now, there's a certain amount of discomfort that might accompany either of these choices. I advise you to choose very carefully which degree of discomfort you would like to endure.
Just tell us what you did to him and what the plan was.
I told you he'd been poisoned, hadn't he?
Yeah, where are you going to take him?
Why does Mr. Gourmand want wild so badly? If you're going to die anyway, there's no harm telling us.
Fair point.
Can you ask him what the poison is?
Do you know what exactly the poison
No, it's
is?
drow poison. Knock him out for a few hours. We've got a few doses.
Antidote? I'm assuming you're
Yeah.
translating that.
Bed.
Alright, well, leave him tied
Coffee?
up and then just Don't tie him up.
Are we sure that we wouldn't like
Coffee
him to be
and
more chatty? Bertie, grabs him by an ankle and starts squeezing.
Look, Bertie, I just don't think there's anything he can tell us that's useful.
Well, there's only one way to find out, really, isn't there? And Bertie slams his left hand.
Bertie!
Okay, you successfully break a helpless gnome's leg before the others can interfere in any way.
Mm-hmm.
He yells, then cuts his own yell short and is biting his own lip. He still doesn't look scared, by the way.
Leave him, Bertie. There's nothing that he might tell us. Like, we know Gormon's plan, right? He's nicking all the food so that he controls the city. I'm guessing he wants Wild because Wild's some way to the meritocrats or something.
Also, if you say you just want to do it for fun, the answer is don't!
It's not fun so much as sometimes matters of business and pleasure intersect.
Unacceptable.
Bertie, if you can't control yourself, then frankly you can leave. We do not need this kind of action. We've been friends for a long time, but I will not stand by and let you do this to someone who is helpless and defenceless.
Yeah.
That is
Listen,
absolutely
guys.
disgusting.
Guys, this is...
Shut up!
And
If we want you to speak, we will ask you a direct question. Otherwise, say nothing.
And also, we genuinely don't need you. He's exploding fireman now.
Yeah, that was weird.
That was cool. Or hot. Yes. That was really like burning cool. That was
Anyway,
great.
seems that Seven's a crowd. Get rid of the hostages, we don't need them here.
Wait, no, just leave him tied up and then we'll leave him overnight.
To starve to death? That seems like an excellent
Yeah,
approach.
this is the thing.
The locksmith will come back.
Yeah, and then he's got two hardened criminals. They've got two hardened criminals in their shop. The best thing we do is we kill them quickly and cleanly.
The other gnome begins to stir. Not awaken, just stir.
You know what? I am going to keep them tied up, and then when Wild wakes up, he might have some route to some people with some resources that can either lock these folks up, can sort out Paris, or can tell us what is going on, and I think that will change the situation.
Alright, well, you can wait.
Very well.
I have one more question. You, where was your base of operations? Where did you get your orders? Where is the Gourmand?
Well, everyone knows that. I mean, it's Eiffel, innit?
We're new in town.
Listen, I mean, it's not my place to interfere or anything, but there's a third option here. Like, you've got the cash, right? I mean, if it was going to go as a bribe anyway, just take the cash and leave.
A bribe to who?
It was either an invite to Wild or a bribe to whoever's with him to just stay away. I mean, you kind of have the bribe anyway, so you could just take it and leave, and then everyone leaves you alone, and we keep Wild, and everyone's happy. Right, job done.
No, I don't think so.
I think, in fact, what we might do is kill the Gourmand.
I think that would be very impressive. If you're able to, maybe take out a meritocrat. Ooh, tell you what, gods, they're hard to take out. Maybe
Someone
maybe
gag
all
him.
of them as well.
Yep, gonna gag.
I turn my hand into a claw and slap him round the face.
We're gonna gag the really arrogant, mean gnome who's
The
been really hurting our feelings.
The other gnome wakes up
Gag preemptively.
and is very still and quiet and just lets you gag him.
Right, so I think we all need to just calm down a bit.
I'm having a nap.
That's a good plan.
I'll take first watch.
No.
I'll
am
take
going to accelerate.
second watch.
I'm going to accelerate
No.
time at
Bertie
this
gets
point.
no watches.
Who does take first watch? Because we all know Bertie is not being left alone.
I'll take
anymore.
first watch.
Okay. Who takes second?
Sasha will.
Okay.
And this is until Wild wakes up.
Okay. Just for the format of it, there is a front room, which is the shop front, which is full of locks, lots of things hanging from the ceiling, from the walls, and so on. There is the back room, which basically had a desk for some administration. It had a safe. I'm going to skip ahead to, you look in the safe, it's full of boring stuff.
And we still haven't eaten anything.
And upstairs,
There is no food.
there is a storage room full of crates, which looks like it's raw materials for the making of locks, and there is a workbench with some tools. You find a
Dinner?
left, like what looks like what's left of a packed lunch from a couple of days ago up there. The taps are working, there's running
we've got
water.
Bertie still has a couple of days of fortified iron rations from his side quest,
Okay.
which he will split because he's nice.
For some definition of the word nice.
He just doesn't have that much of a concept of time, so the idea of rationing things and keeping them for himself for the future doesn't really occur to him.
So we will skip ahead
That
to...
is one of the reasons
will
behind his
s-
massive financial problems. Like,
we will skip ahead to the middle of First Watch.
Sure.
Other people have been kicked down for a while.
Zolf, do you know much about magic? Do you know anything?
Not really. Poseidon kind of
No,
gives me
I guess
the
he
stuff.
just kind of takes care of it for you.
You're a bit spooked out by
Something really strange is happening.
Yeah. Your face went all mouthy,
What?
long, kind of, and you got
That spell I cast, I've never studied it.
and you got the scales
Yeah.
and the claws
Something really strange is happening to me.
and
What?
a snouty mouth and
What?
breathing fire.
No, it's a spell.
Well, I mean, it's a spell that comes from your mouth then.
No, I aim it with
Yeah.
my hands.
No, it came out of your mouth a bit. There was a bit of mouth fire.
What?
happening. Yeah.
That's not how that spell works.
Well,
I
that's how that worked in that particular instance.
No, it's a spell. It's called Scorching Ray.
Right.
But I've never studied it. I shouldn't even know what it's called. I've suddenly got this knowledge in my head and I don't know where it's come from.
Do you accidentally worship a god? Did you end up doing that? Are you maybe an accidental cleric?
No, I don't think
Happens to
so.
the best of us.
One day you wake up and then it's like, whoops!
Accidentally slipped and heard the good news.
And now I've got watery legs and I don't know what I'm doing.
But my
Talk too hard about volcanoes. They're lovely. They're lovely, and then you get powers.
Got a fucking, it's like, deal!
My professors at university always told me casting spells would require hard work and memorization. I've never needed to do any of that. The spells just happen when I want them to.
Right.
I don't think I'm a wizard.
Okay. I mean, I do actually have knowledge arcana.
Give me the roll. Give me
So
the roll.
I'm going to do a, what are sorcerers?
8.
You think you put a teacup on it?
You do know what sorcerers are. The only problem is you're not.
26
You're-
on my knowledge arcana.
There you go.
The problem is you know what sorcerers are.
There's no,
You
yeah.
don't tie that. You don't tie that connection
No,
in your head.
fine.
Hamid, here's how the thought situation goes. I cast that without studying. Most likely option is I'm some kind of spontaneous caster, and I can't play guitar, so that makes me a sorcerer.
Because it's not
Bear
a
with.
bard.
Yeah.
Nah, that's ridiculous. That's literally the thought experiment. You're
Okay.
aware what sorcerers are. You're aware that this ticks a lot of the boxes. It's just it's an idle fancy.
Maybe I was a chess grandmaster. Or
You know what I mean? It's like believing that, you know what, I am the best ski jumper, I've just never tried. But that's the only reason I don't know.
Yeah.
Should I have tried, I would have been a true proficient.
Exactly.
Okay.
I am going to skip time ahead to the middle of second watch. Who's on second watch? Okay.
And Bertie, or
No.
Bertie prevented from being
Give
on?
me a perception
You've
check,
just put to
Sasha.
sleep.
Everyone else, I'm actually allowing you to sleep. You are tired and hungry, and it's been a long day.
Also, murdering gnomes aside, with your perception checks, there's no point in putting
He stares at them directly in the room. Instead, Bertie is asleep and he's having this wonderful dream where he's going through a garden centre, smashing up literally everything there.
And it's weird, the plants in this one aren't trying to get you, they're just there.
He gets to smash both furniture and gnomes.
Yeah.
His two favourite things to destroy.
pointy hats!
So, what was the perception? roll?
21.
21. Sasha, there is someone on the street outside, and they have moved close to the exterior wall. You hear the distinct sounds of more than one person outside.
She's going to stealthily sneak into the front room, because we're all in the back, and see if they are trying to get into the building.
Give me a stealth check. The perception check will roll over.
27.
27. You move up to the door. There is the distinct sounds of multiple people outside. Unless you were to look through a window or a keyhole or something similar, you're not going to be able to see what's going on.
Look through. So the keyhole is too obvious. You always just expect there to be a giant, glowing, unblinking eye. on the other side, right?
Or the other end of a crossbow bolt.
Yeah. Yeah.
Is there not going to be like a security peephole?
Ooh,
Like-
so it is a locksmith.
Yes.
It's a locksmith.
She will look through the security peephole.
You see a human on the other side, right up to it. They're not putting their eye to it or anything. They don't seem particularly concerned, at which point they knock very loudly on the door. Bang, bang, bang.
Doesn't answer.
He waits a little bit. You see him turn, gesture. There's a little bit of movement at the edge. You can't really see what it is. Then he turns back. Bang, bang, bang. Come on.
Okay, she's going to sneak back to everyone, wake them up.
Have I slept
Not-
enough time to recover my spells?
You have not.
Yeah, she's not going to wake up Bertie. She's going to wake up these two and
Zolf
say,
and Hamid.
there's someone trying to get in. I need look for a way out the back, and get Bertie out as well quietly.
Bang, bang, bang.
Oh.
Take your time, but we're not going anywhere.
I'm going to go upstairs and see how many there are
I'll
there.
look. I'll go
Okay.
upstairs and look out.
We'll look for a
Alright.
back way out.
Do you know who
I'll
it
fix
is?
it.
Is it more of Gormal's gang?
I don't know who it is, but who else would it be?
I know, police.
They've got some sort of telepathy. The gnomes communicate.
Bang,
We
bang,
shouldn't
bang.
have kept them with us.
Should have killed them.
You got about 3 minutes.
So Sasha goes up to the window. She goes upstairs and there's the window there. What do you want?
He looks up. Ah, hi. There is a comparatively well-dressed man there. He is wearing a suit. It's not super slick, but it's a good enough suit.
Is it a dining? Is it? Has he done it like a chef? Or with a little sort of a big...
Oh god, he's like a super villain.
He doesn't have a neon sign saying
like.
like "Oh man," no.
Yeah.
And he's carrying a briefcase. The
full
suit,
of food.
no. From this distance, perhaps. The suit is well cut, but not particularly exciting. Give me a perception check.
28.
You pick out at least 6 other people on the rooftops of the buildings opposite, and there are a few people covering alleyways and the street. He's there holding it. He looks quite cheerful and happy, and he's just sort of going, "Hi, yes, I understand that you are one of the people who's holding Oscar Wilde.
Who?
Very, very irritating, obnoxious, arrogant, has atrocious sense of style,
Bertie stirs at this discussion. his ears are burning.
Yeah.
massive liability, and frankly, not really worth the amount of money that we were going to pay you to hand
Like
him
on
over
fire.
anyway."
Like on fire.
Yeah, it's like, nudge Hamid. So he does know him then.
And Wilde isn't awake yet.
Wilde's still unconscious, like he's out.
I mean, that sounds like quite a few people I know, frankly.
Listen, I do really appreciate this conversation.
While this is happening, I'm going to gently wake up Bertie and impress upon him as quickly and efficiently as possible the need to stay quiet.
You know what? For one time, just give me a diplomacy check on that one.
Was it just a
It's
wait?
going to be like 30 something.
30.
Bertie, even if you don't want to be quiet, he's given a very convincing argument in about 2 words. He said "be quiet" in the way that like world leaders say the words "peace now" and stuff like that. Like, there's a
Well, an undercurrent of threat and bombing.
yes, there
Okay.
is. Sasha's in the building with her bombs, and there is an undercurrent of
Right.
threat. Yes.
Very
Bertie,
good.
Bertie understands this and will definitely try and be quiet.
So this is very good because I always imagine Bertie probably like wakes up with a melt chit like just to start the day.
Just opens his mouth, expecting someone to pour kedgeree into it.
What is it that you want? And why would you want such an obnoxious man anyway?
Listen, I'd really like to come in, or if you would be willing to come out, whichever. We're okay to wait for a little while. Obviously, there's a lot of people out here. You take your time, but obviously, if you don't let me in, we might have to take you out. That's not going to be pleasant for anyone, and we don't need to behave like that. We're not animals.
All right, we're just going to look into breakfast, and then we'll see about.
Remind me. Sorry about that. He puts the briefcase down, opens it, and he takes out a set of croissants, and he puts them on the doorstep, closes the briefcase, picks it up, and just goes, "I understand. There's obviously food's a bit scarce. This is just a little thing." He starts walking back, turns around. Yeah, take your time, but obviously not too much time. He kind of laughs and then goes over and stands quite casually next to one of the burlier, scarred, grizzled, shaven men.
Sasha comes down and basically, without bothering to really be quiet, like, all right, so there isn't really much hope of getting out of here. There's like 6 of them out the front that I could see. There's one on the roof. They're going to be out the back if there is a back way. Is any trapdoors into the sewers that you noticed? Anything?
Well, if you have a look around, I'm gonna see if I can get Wild up.
There's something I think we should do.
What?
Kill the 2 gnomes.
Seconded. Motion carried.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean,
Fancy making
Well-
a sacrifice?
If you drown
Mr.
them.
Smith, perhaps we could call down a mighty thunderstorm.
I'm not going to be doing any of that. Thanks for the moment.
So you've told all these people about us. Well done.
They
yes.
look genuinely confused.
They've come after us. You told us what with your
The-
telepathy.
The gobby one kind of pulls at his gag to
Take
speak.
his gag off.
What?
Well, you've obviously brought these people down to get us.
How? We were with you.
Yeah, but you were communicating while you were
You
invisible.
let 3 of my mates get away. Let's look at the options. Number 1, telepathic gnomes.
Yeah, I don't-
2, someone said they're over there.
I've seen gnomes, and they can like burn stuff into people's skin
Doesn't-
and appear out of nowhere. That's what gnomes can do.
Well, yeah, but I mean, there's some humans that can fly and turn people into, I want to say, rocks. Like, if I could do that, do you think I'd be here? I'd be in a castle made of marshmallows with a pet unigriffin or something. I don't know.
Sounds quite cool, actually.
Yeah, I know, right?
Yeah. Sasha has more in common with these gnomes than anyone else in the team.
Yeah. Very well, so the decision has been made to kill them. Mr.
Wait.
Smith, any last offer, last dibs for Poseidon?
Look, if they're not telepathic, just throw them out the window.
Listen, like if you just take that cash, right, and just leave, you'll be able to leave. They don't care about you.
Throw them out the window and tell them that's what we're doing.
So I'm going to start kicking Wild, slapping him in the face. I'm going to create water in him.
Wild is waking up, but he's not awake yet. He is
Right.
still groggy. He can open an eye. and
What time of day is it? Because that is actually important for me.
It is night now. It's not late at night. It's sort of early night.
I meditate in dawn. Right, we're not getting anything out of him. Right, so our options are...
Sasha is desperately looking for any kind of trapdoor into an underground sewage network or catacombs that might exist.
Give me a perception roll.
To see what the flooring is made of. 21.
21. You find underneath the locker holding the keys, there appears to be actually a trapdoor. Some kind of bolt hole.
Right, well, she opens it.
It's not a tunnel that leads anywhere. It is the equivalent of a safe room, enough for one person to sit in, which has a small amount of food, a small amount of water, and a door which you can lock from the inside that would only open from the inside. But it's enough for Hamid. Sasha could possibly squeeze herself in. Zolf,
No
Bertie, no way, and it would only fit one of you at a time.
Bertie
Wait.
is basically sitting in a safe room and wearing it around all the time anyway. So he's
Should we-
that concerned?
Right, so maybe what we should do is put Hamid in with Wild, to keep it locked. It means if they open it, they get a big fire blast in their eyes. And then we say, well, we don't have him. Look, search for him.
I think they know we've got him, mate.
No, they're guessing that we do. I mean, we killed the other gnomes, but they're guessing.
Some of
But
them, look, they followed us, right?
All right, so
If we kill the gnomes, then it's obvious that we have a reason to kill the gnomes.
they're annoying.
Well, that's a point. Now, if I make my displeasure of the entire existence of the gnomish race publicly known to
Wait,
all
what?
of them, then, and Bertie carries on in full stream.
Oh my.
About and it gets really weird and awkward about how gnomes control all the world's banks. Like, it's really nasty
Wait, no,
stuff.
Bertie, we met who controls the world's banks and killed it.
It was made of brains.
Yeah, well, maybe some gnomish brains, but probably not all.
How deep does this rabbit hole
But
go?
also human brains and dwarf brains, all brains
what-
together, working together in a kind of way that's beautiful,
The gnome-
as well as hideous.
The gobby gnome turns to the gnome that is still gagged and just gestures to them with the head going, we lost to these guys. Oh.
Whatever we do, we shouldn't discuss our plans in front of these two gnomes. You may be communicating it back to the outside. Can we
Right.
please get rid of them?
Fine! Stab one through the neck, stab the other one through the neck.
Oh, spoil my fun, Mr. Smith!
And we will end the
After
episode
all
there.
that!
Oh my gosh. You are
You
the
lost half
worst.
the audience.
You are the worst. Ugh.
Yes, my character's the worst. Why has it taken us nearly 60 episodes to
Oh,
discover
to
how
clarify,
the worst
no,
my character is?
you're all the worst in
No.
special, unique
Oh.
ways.
Yes.
Yeah, we'll end the episode there. Okay.
That's you. Oh gosh, Zolf.
He's a complicated man.
He's a complicated
Never be at the
murderer.
mercy of a good man.
Is he a good man?
Yes.
I mean, it is written on my character sheet.
You're lawful good. I mean, what's Bertie? I forget now.
So as
According to the Adventurer's Code, we have the right to execute these people.
Yeah.
So as we disappear down the rabbit hole of moral nuance that has become this podcast over the last few episodes,
That's all good.
I think we'll return again next week. Bye, guys.
Bye.
Rusty Quill Gaming is a podcast distributed by rustyquill.com and licensed under a Creative Commons Attribution Non-Commercial International License. Today's episode was recorded and produced by Alexander J. Newall. To comment on episodes, make donations, and view links, images, videos, and show notes, visit rustyquill.com. Rate and review us on iTunes. Visit us on Facebook. tweet us on Twitter at the Rusty Quill, or email us at mail@rustyquill.com. Thanks for listening.
You could put like toffee in it and it'd
Test,
be all warm.
test.
And, like, banoffee.
Oh, gruesome. Test.
Lydia?
Test.
Banoffee is perfectly normal and delicious.
Not
Lydia,
when kept there.
everyone- Hello and welcome to episode 57 of the Rusty Quill Gaming Podcast. I'm your host and GM, and with me today I have...
James Ross.
Bryn Monroe.
Lydia Nicholas.
Ben Meredith.
And who are you playing?
Sir Bertrand MacGuffingham.
Hamid, Saleh, Haroun, al-Tahan.
Lydia Nicholas.
Zolf Smith.
That's my name.
I didn't pick up on that.
Hi.
You also didn't give
You
yourself
didn't do
name.
your name either. It's tiring, really, remembering your name. Day in, day out. Never get a day off. Yeah, but you were communicating while you were
You
invisible.
let 3 of my mates get away.
They
What's
were
more
on-
likely?
They were dead. I genuinely thought they were dead. One of
No,
them.
they didn't.
No, they're the
ran
ones
off.
that ran off.
Oh, right, yeah, I forgot that. We're
Perfect, use it.